There's a growing feeling that something isn't right. You can't quite put your finger on it, but you feel it every time you walk into a grocery store, check your mail, or sit down at the end of the month to figure out how to stretch the last few dollars in your account. It's not just inflation, it's not just rent. It's something deeper, more systematic, and millions of Americans are all thinking the same thing right now. This wasn't how retirement, disability, or senior life was supposed to feel. Maybe you've noticed it too. The way prices have crept up slowly, then all at once. The way your bills show up right on time, but your bank balance doesn't stretch like it used to. Or the way every time the news mentions relief, adjustments, or support, the changes either miss you entirely or arrive too late to matter. That's the pattern. That's the cycle. And for people living on fixed incomes, that cycle isn't just frustrating, it's dangerous. You're not alone in noticing it. I've been hearing from people across the country, retirees, disabled veterans, low income seniors, widows, single parents, all telling me the same thing. They're stretched to the absolute limit. Some are skipping meals to cover prescriptions. Others are behind on rent and afraid of eviction. And nearly everyone says the same thing at the end of their message: something has to change. And here's the truth: something can change, but only if enough people speak up, understand what's really happening behind the scenes, and take action together. That's what this video is about. If you stay with me all the way through, I'm going to walk you through what's really going on, what's quietly being planned behind closed doors, and how we can push back in a way that actually makes lawmakers pay attention. And when I say we, I mean all of us. Ordinary people who've been left out of the conversation for far too long. This isn't going to be one of those videos that dumps numbers on you and calls it a day. It's not a scare piece or a feel good story either. What you're about to hear is a realistic breakdown of what's affecting every person who receives Social Security benefits, whether it's retirement, SSDI, SSI, survivor benefits, spousal, VA, or railroad. If you've got a fixed income and rising costs, this is about you. And if you've ever felt like your voice doesn't matter when it comes to government decisions, you're about to find out just how powerful your input actually is. But before we go further, do me a quick favor. If you've ever looked at your check and thought, how is this supposed to cover my bills? Hit the like button. Not because it solves the problem, but because it tells the system that your story deserves to be heard. And leave a comment below with what you need most, whether it's more monthly income, a rent cap, food assistance, or medical relief. You'll see why that comment matters more than you think in just a minute. So, what's behind this slow motion crisis? Why are so many people falling behind when we're supposedly in a recovery? Why do benefit increases always feel too little, too late? To understand that, you need to look beyond the headlines and into the structure of how these systems are built. And unfortunately, that structure hasn't kept up with reality. The formulas, the policies, the rules, they're stuck in another era, one where costs were lower, lifespans were shorter, and inflation wasn't weaponized by corporate profit margins. What does that mean for you? It means even when changes do happen, like cost of living adjustments or increases, they often get swallowed up by something else. It's like trying to walk up a down escalator. You take a step forward, but the system pulls you two steps back. And that's no accident. That's the result of competing calculations, mismatched timelines, and a failure to prioritize the most vulnerable Americans. Now, if you've been following along, you've probably seen some talk about upcoming increases, inflation relief, or COLA forecasts. But here's the part they don't tell you up front. The numbers may sound promising until you see what's waiting on the other side of your benefit check. Because just as one hand offers you a small bump, the other hand is quietly reaching in and taking something away. And for many of you, the impact will be felt before you even realize what hit you. This is where we need to talk about what's coming in 2026. The most current projection for the cost of living adjustment, COLA, is around 3%. At first glance, that might seem reasonable. A 3% raise, depending on your benefit level, could mean an extra $30 to $50 a month. Not life changing, but better than nothing, right? Now, here's the part no one wants to say out loud: that raise will almost certainly be wiped out by the projected increase in Medicare Part B premiums, which are expected to jump by nearly 12%. That's right, 12. 4 times higher than your benefit increase. And because Medicare premiums are deducted directly from your Social Security check, most people will never even see the raise they've been promised. Let's break that down. Say you currently receive $1,000 a month. A 3% COLA gives you an extra $30. But if your Medicare premium goes up by $35 or $40, your check actually gets smaller. And if you're low income, disabled, or living on SSI or SSDI, this imbalance hits even harder. It's not just frustrating, it's unfair, and it's completely legal. Worse yet, this isn't the first time it's happened. It's a pattern, one where COLAs are announced with fanfare but quietly neutralized by healthcare hikes. And because there's no law requiring that benefit increases must outpace medical deductions, this will keep happening year after year unless someone forces a change. So, what can be done? More than you think. One of the most promising ideas out there right now is a tiered benefit increase. That means the lowest income beneficiaries, those well below the federal poverty line, would get the largest raise. Mid level recipients would get a moderate bump, and higher income retirees would get a much smaller increase, or none at all. That system makes the most impact with the smallest cost, and it's gaining traction with policy experts and lawmakers alike. Alongside that, people are also calling for biweekly payments instead of monthly. Because let's be honest, no one should have to wait 30 days between paychecks. Splitting your benefit into two monthly deposits could help people manage bills, reduce reliance on credit cards, and avoid late fees. It's a simple change that could make a huge difference. And here's where you come in. I'm putting together a letter to send to every major congressional office that deals with Social Security, Medicare, and federal benefit reform. But it won't be written by lobbyists or lawyers. It'll be written by you, the people living this reality every day. Your comments, your needs, your stories, that's what will make this letter different. And that's what might finally make someone listen. If you've made it this far, then you already know this isn't just about numbers. It's about dignity. It's about fairness. It's about being able to afford a decent life after working, serving, or surviving your way to this point. And it's about ending the silence that lets this system stay broken. And just one more thing before we wrap this up. If you're feeling like none of this will ever change, I want you to remember something important. Every policy you see in place today started as a demand from ordinary people. Every change, no matter how small, began with someone saying, "This isn't working." You don't need to be an expert. You don't need to have connections. You just need to speak up and to keep showing up. These systems were designed by people, and they can be redesigned for people. But it starts with awareness, action, and consistency. If you've ever felt ignored or overlooked, this